everyone, and welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a 6 pieces skirt. So I'm making it in a very simple way. So this we're using a free hand. We're not going to make use of a pattern. So that's what we're going to learn how to do today. If you are new to the channel, you are welcome. If you have not subscribed, please, I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then if you want to register for our online classes, you can just see my number scrolling through the screen. Send me a message on WhatsApp. You can follow me on all of my social media platforms, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, all at Stylish Naija. Okay, so in this pattern of 6 pieces skirt, so I have some measurements here I'm going to explain to you. So I'm going to make this video very detailed for beginners, so you'll be able to know how to cut and sew. It is a simple process. So the waist measurement that we're going to be making use of is 30. So we're going to divide 30 into 4. We're going to have we're going to have 7.5. And then the hip measurement is 40. You divide into 4, you have 10. And then the knee is 38. You divide into 4, you have 9.5. This is optional, though. This knee measurement is optional. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you, since we're making use of a free hand, there are some little trick in it. So now let's just get started. So the first thing, I have my fabric here, which is 3 yards. So I'm going to fold it. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to cut out the center piece first. So before we put in all of this measurement, so this whole measurement, we are not putting them now. So for the center piece, we're just going to use a free measurement to cut it. So I'll explain as we go along. Okay, so for this pattern, if you can see, I folded my fabric. So for this, the center part, we're going to be cutting out a center part. So that center, which is the middle part, I'm going to use half of my bust pan measurement to cut it out. So half of my bust pan measurement is actually 8 inches. So it is folded into 2. So the way you are going to fold this, you're going to determine how full you want the down part of your skirt to be. So for this center part, in cutting a 6 pieces skirt, this center part is key to how full your skirt is going to be. So for mine, most times for this, I'm making use of 10. If this is about 11 inches on fold here now. This is about 11 inches on fold. So most times I can use 11 inches. If I want it very full and big, I can go as much as 15 inches for my center piece. So when you open it up, you're going to have about 30. So that skirt is going to be really big and full. So like I said, this measurement is not included in this measurement. So just note, just watch as I go. So I'm going to rule some line here. So the first line that we're ruling here is our hip line. So that's our hip line, which is 9 inches. And then from our waist to our knee line is 19 inches. So that's our 19 inches for our knee. And then the full measurement of our skirt is 43 inches. So that's the full measurement. So now what we are using now, half of the bust pan measurement, like I told you, I said half of my bust pan is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark my 4 inches here like this. So I'm not going to add any allowance into it. You can decide to add allowance into it, but I don't want to, because I don't want this middle part. I hope you can see me. This middle part like this of my skirt, I don't want it to be too wide. If it is too wide, it will not have shape. So I'll just use that 4 inches, which is okay. So in stitching, I'll still stitch out about half of an inch from it. Use quarter of an inch on both sides. So I'll mark that 4 inches. I'm just going to mark that 4 inches across. I'll mark it to my hip line. So that this is my hip line. That's from waist to hip line, 9 inches, which is standard for hip line. So on the knee line, this is my knee line. I'm not going to use 4 inches. I want it to have a kind of shape. So I'm going to come to this point. I'm going to use 3.5 inches. So this is a trick that I've been using for my 6 pieces skirt, and it has been perfect. So I'll use 3.5 here, and then I'm just going to connect this. So this actually makes that center part to be a little bit slim. So from this point now, I'm going to come to the hem of my skirt. Now, I used 11 inches like I told you. So I'll just take my pattern ruler like this, and then I'll just give it a straight curve. So it depends on how wide you want this part to be. Like I said, you can go as much as 15 inches. So now you can see we have the center of our skirt. So I hope you can see. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'll cut this out and then continue the explanation. So you can see our center piece. So I'm just going to open it up for you to see so you can see how it is looking. So you see what I was trying to explain here. You can see it has a kind of distinct shape instead of it to just come like block and open. No, this reduces it and then it opens at the down. So you can go as much as you want. So for this piece now, this piece we're going to use to cut out a center back. So when cutting out the center back, the only thing that we're going to add to the center back is a zip allowance. That's, we'll place it like this and then just add a zip allowance for the back piece and cut it exactly like this. That's for the back. Okay. So the next thing, I'm going to fold my pattern again, and that's my fabric, and then we're going to cut out the side of our skirt. That's the two sides of our skirt. So I'll turn this. So for this now, also your fold, what you're put in consideration when folding is how wide you want your skirt to be. When you are dealing with six pieces skirt, everything is how wide you want it to be. Okay, so for this side part, I'm just going to measure what I want for my skirt. So I have about 15 inches here, which is okay. So you can do 10 inches. If I do 10 inches, the skirt is not going to be too full. So since I did 10 inches before for the center part, so I'm just going to go, I'll do about 15 inches, which is okay. So the next thing you are going to put into consideration, this part, you're going to check to make sure that your hip measurement will go in. And then we're going to repeat. You remember these lines that we marked? We're going to repeat them here. But before we do that, you are going to take this pattern like this. You're going to take this pattern like this because we need the edges to match. You understand? We need this edge and this edge to match because that's where we're going to stitch them. If they don't match, your skirt is going to look funny. So I'm going to take this like this. I'll place this here like this on this, and then I'm going to do this. So I hope you can see what I'm trying to do. And then I'm going to use my chalk to mark it to give me the same shape. Okay, so you can see that it looks like what I have here. So I'm just going to, so I have the same shape that I have now. So when I stitch, my skirt is going to be perfect. You understand? So that's the essence of making sure that you match those edges together. Okay. Okay, so after matching those edges together, what we're now going to repeat now, we're going to repeat our lines. Okay. So our line, our hip line, which is 9 inches, repeat them here, and then our knee line, repeat it here, and then the full length of our skirt. So what I'm going to do now, this part, I'm going to cut this out now. So just cut it out. So after taking this out, you're just going to place it like this, and then you can pin it down just to secure it, to make sure it does not move. And use your pins to pin it down. So I'm just going to use this to just place it like this now. So you can see it is placed. Okay, you see my lines did not match. So you make sure you match them together. Make sure that they are on the same line. You understand? So if you notice, this part is looking as if it's a little bit raised, but just ignore it. just continue what you are doing. So now we are going to add our full measurements now into this skirt pattern. So adding that, the first measurement we are going to add is our waist measurement. So that waist measurement, you are going to place your tape like this on that center front, and then you are going to mark it. We have 7.5. This is our 7.5, and now you are going to add your stitching allowance to your pattern. So for my stitching allowance, I'm just going to go with 2 inches. I hope you can see. So I'll add 2 inches for my stitching allowance. And then the next thing, I'm going to come to the hip measurement. So for the hip, I said I'm using 10, which is 40. I'll add my 10 inches here. And then I'm going to add my 2 inches allowance also. So that 2 inches allowance, I'm just going to blend this together here like this. Just blend it together. And then for the knee measurement, I'm using 38. So 38. So why I got 38 was for my hip measurement, which is 40. I just took out 2 inches. So if you want it very slimmer, you can reduce it however you want. So I'll take my tape like this, and then I'll place it like this. I'm trying to get my 9.5, which is for my knee measurement. So for the knee part, I'm not going to add as much as 2 inches allowance to it. I'm just going to add 1.5 inches allowance. And then I'll use my pattern curve like this. Just I'll connect it like this. You can see how simple this skirt is, right? After connecting, the next thing now is just for us to create our flare at the down part of our skirt. So like I said, it depends on how wide. So you're just going to take your pattern like this, so you can measure. So let's just measure to be sure of what we have at the end of the day, placing all of them together. So we have about 23 inches, which is okay. So you just place like this, and then just give it a straight, a very neat flare curve like this to the end of your skirt pattern. So you can see how easy. So before we continue, so for this part, I'm just going to come up by half 2 inches, and then that 2 inches, I'm just trying to blend it into those parts. And then for this, just blend, continue the blend, let the blend go in like this, don't come in too much. So now we're going to cut the side of our skirt. Just give it a good curve. So you can see how pretty and simple and easy it is to cut a 6 pieces skirt with your free hand. So I'm just going to open this up so you can see. So everything you have here is what you are going to cut for the back. These 2 pieces is the same thing for the back. Just this one, you are just going to add a zip allowance, just increase it a little bit. That's just the difference of the back, and then the back is going to be slit open because of the zip. So I'm going to open this up now so you can see nicely how it is looking. So I'll take this now to my machine and stitch it for you to see. It is a simple process, the stitching process. So most times when I'm doing 6 pieces skirt, when I'm stitching, I always like stitching from the top. I don't stitch from the down. So I'll take this now to my machine, and then I will stitch it like this to the down part, and then stitch this one also, and then bring it back and show you how it looks. You can see how full the skirt is looking already on the table. You can see. Okay, so when you want to stitch, so I've stitched one side already. I'll just take this and then you place it like this on top. It is a very simple process, and then you just stitch. Okay, so at the end of the day, you can see how beautiful our 6 pieces skirt is looking. So you can see it really came out really fine. Even me, I love this pattern. I just like what I have here. So you can see it looks really good. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, subscribe to Stylish Nigeria YouTube channel. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.